What's happening, my friends? It's Cast Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. Now, as usual, before I get started, let me give a shout out to the JBT community. It's just boxing talk. We're a group of people who just love to talk boxing. And we're always looking for others to join us. And you don't have to have a podcast. The only requirement is you just have to love to talk boxing. That's all. That's all. Miss Cass, hashtag JBT. Hardcore boxing news, hashtag JBT. What's up, J Hardcore? Salute. And welcome to another episode of Cat Sports, the Box Historian. Today, the life and career of the Big Bear, Charles Sonny Liston. Al Booger in the building. How is everybody doing this Friday afternoon? You know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Box Historian. That's me, your friendly neighborhood box historian, coming to your neighborhood, handing out that boxing history. That's right, the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it and can't get enough of it. Boxing, our sport. Well, we're right up on the big heavyweight undisputed. All we got now is one more wake up, and we're there. I still got Fury. I don't know how Ugas is going to get over all that size. I just can't see him doing it. But the man is a 3-belt unified champion, so he's got a good shot. So, what is it, the weigh-in today? Why do they need a weigh-in for heavyweights? They can weigh whatever they want to weigh, right? I guess just to make it official. See just how much more than Usyk Fury is going to weigh. He looked good though. Last time I saw him, Fury was looking lean and mean. Tim Layton, hashtag JBT. Mike Masick in the building. Salute, gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Cast Sports, the Box Historian. Talking about the Big Bear today. Of course, to Ali, he was the big ugly bear. I call him the big bad bear. But he's the Big Bear. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Charles Sonny Liston. Looking for Bruce Gass. Bruce Gass gave me some invaluable information this morning about Liston. And I incorporated it in here. I was going to postpone it till next Friday and was going to ask Bruce Gass to come do it with me, but I didn't have enough time for a replacement show today, so I'm going to go on with it. I incorporated what he gave me into it. I'm going to do my best to bring it to you, okay? E-Class. What's up, E-Class? How are you this Friday afternoon? Ready for the big heavyweight undisputed we got tomorrow? What time is that anyway? Because I know the day of reckoning was like 2 p.m. in Saudi Arabia. Excuse me. I don't know what time it is, but whatever time, I'm going to be there. Well, I'm not going to be in Saudi Arabia. I'm going to be in front of the TV watching. But I'm going to be watching it, so am I supposed to say I'm in Saudi Arabia? Just got out to hang out? Wow. Okay, you almost came right up and put the baton in my hand again. Oh, E-Class says the ring walk is 6 p.m. Is that for the main event? So I guess the card started about what, 3 E-Class? Because it's a very good card overall. I don't want to miss any of them, especially that Adji Carvalho and Frank Sanchez. That one might steal the show, you know. And we got isn't Joe Cordina defending his belt on that card? Yeah, so I don't want to miss any of that. Yeah, that's going to be a good one. It was something good to talk about Monday in the JBT panel discussion. Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. Oh, main event, okay. So I guess, because I remember the day of reckoning started about 2 p.m. So yeah, we're going to start the show in about, well, I guess the show's already started, but the subject of the show, the Big Bear, about 2:30, because, I'm waiting for some more people like Tim Layton, Let's Talk Fashion, Mike Grimm, Ray Patterson, straight out of New Jersey. They'll be here. Hoping Bruce Gas come along. I might just drop the link for him. He gave me some good stuff this morning. Yeah. I might just do that if he's willing to come up and help me out. Oh, I got to check, Jay. I just rushed in. But yeah, I'm going to make sure that they're on top of it. Okay. Is that for the dues or just some more money toward the kitty, Jay? Yeah, Al Booker says he can't wait for tomorrow. I can't either. You know what else I can't wait for? That JBT meet and greet. July 13th weekend at the Boots Cody Crowley fight. That's going to be fun. Tim said, just Tim and Mrs. Layton is going to be there. Me and Miss Cass. It's going to be fun. Meeting everybody. We already know each other because we talk 3 or 4 times every day, We just going to make it official, face-to-face meeting, right? But yeah, the hangout just ended 45 minutes ago. And guess what? Today is Friday. So we get an 8 o'clock hangout today. The Friday night hangout. Because, man, I've got withdrawals all week. I grabbed my phone about 10 minutes to 8, and then I said, oh, no, ain't no hangout. Wasn't no hashtag Let's Talk Fashion this week. But Remo said he's gearing up for the big season finale. That's going to be good. Hashtag Let's Talk Fashion by Remo. And don't forget the Friday night hangout. So yeah, it's still early in the JBT day. I'm just the second act, Because we got The Voice at 4. Friday night hangout tonight at 8. And we got the Mighty Rise podcast at 9. And who knows? Might see a Casuals Corner. Or BN Boxing News might drop something. You got to turn your notifications on. And then remember too, we got the Navarrete is fighting Dennis, is it Berinchek? Something like that. Probably butchering the man's last name, but that's tomorrow too, and that's a pretty good card. You see some of top ranks good young fighters. One of Fernando Vargas' sons, I believe it's Emiliano, the younger one. I think he's at lightweight. He's been sparking I think he got 100% KO rate. He's been sparking them up. Man, you see a clash between him and the other young kid at lightweight. I'm not good with names. The one that's been getting everybody out of there early. Southpaw. He's got like 7-8 fights. Him and Emiliano Vargas are like 3 or 4 years down the road. Ooh, that would be a big. There's Bruce Gas right there. Bruce Gas, I appreciate the information you sent me this morning, man. That was invaluable, bro. I tried to incorporate some of it in here. Yeah, I appreciate that, Bruce Gas. Yes. I almost was going to postpone it until next Friday and get you to do it with me, but I didn't have nothing to replace it with. But yeah, I'm going to do my best. But you're in the chat. Don't hesitate to add your input in there, Bruce Gas. Yeah. Learned some things from that, too. Yeah. Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more in the building. Tyson Fury, 262. Alexander Usyk, 233.5. Okay. What is that, about 29 pounds? Something like that, 28, 29 pounds. Okay. It's not that bad. Wow. I wouldn't expect it. Usyk is 233. That's probably Abdullah Mason. Thank you, Al Booker. That's who I was talking about, Abdullah Mason. Him and Emiliano Vargas will be a big super fight, but it's a lot of other good youngsters at lightweight too now. So, but yeah, 233.5. Is that the biggest Usyk came in? Usyk saying, you ain't gonna lean all that weight on me. Wow, I wasn't expecting Usyk to be that big. Is that big for him? Because he was cruiserweight, remember? That's not too bad. 28, 29 pounds. But it's like 28 and a half. Yeah, 33.5. 261 would be 28. Yeah, 28 and a half pounds. Not bad. I don't know. That's going to be a great fight. Yeah. And it's tomorrow. That's the big thing. And then they got that good young heavyweight, Richard Torres Jr., going up against Brandon Moore on the night card, the Navarrete card. That's on ESPN Plus and ESPN. That's the free one. Well, it's not free because you still pay your ESPN, so none of it's free. But that's another good card with some good fights on that one too. So another good weekend of boxing. We got them lined up, man. And then I believe, I forgot who was next week, but I know AB is coming up in about 3 weeks. Oh, Jack Catterall and Josh Taylor is next weekend. Yeah, the rematch. It's a shame Jack didn't get the record books as 4-belt undisputed, which he should have been because, he won that first fight. But this one, no belts on the line, but he get to do it again. I think he can. Plus, it's a couple year older Josh Taylor, and Josh Taylor should really be at 147, so he's squeezing his body down to 140. So that's in Catterall's advantage. I got Catterall again. Sometimes a fighter just have another fighter's number, and Josh just couldn't figure him out. But he got a gift, so it's boxing. Yeah, I thought so, Al Booker. This is his heaviest by. Al Booker says this is Usyk's heaviest by 12 pounds. I thought so because I thought, Usyk is usually around 220. Somewhere in that range. Yeah, normally. Okay. I thought so. So Usyk said, yeah, you're not going to have that much weight advantage on me. I don't know, though, man, because y'all think that's a good move for Usyk to come in with the extra weight? Or should it have just came in as normal, 12 pounds could be a lot when you get to them later rounds, and Fury been leaning that big. So what is Fury? 260 something? So that's 270 at least by tomorrow night. So will the 12 rounds affect Usyk after Fury leading that big 270 on him all for like 10, 11 rounds? Will that affect him in the end? But anyway, we're going to find out tomorrow. Yeah, it's going to be good, though. Either way, we'll have an undisputed at heavyweight. Not unless we get a draw. I doubt it. But the other good thing is it's a rematch clause both ways. So they should be each other's next fight. And then if we get 1-1, we got to have a trilogy. And the Saudis got that money. They're going to get a trilogy out of it. Oh, yeah. That would be great. I'm going with Fury for both of them. Usyk is just a blown-up cruiserweight. But I guess the more money is at heavyweight. This is probably his biggest payday. And then, when is Anthony Joshua? No, he's not. I thought he's not scheduled. I would like to see Anthony Joshua and Joe Parker fight next. Then the winner gets the winner of this one. The Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury in Wembley Stadium. 80,000 in the house. Okay, let's get ready to start. Only 5 minutes. Start 5 minutes early today because this is a long profile. I had to add in that great information Bruce Gass sent me this morning. I should just play that. That would be a fire show. He was interviewing this guy that wrote a book on Sonny Liston. There was some good stuff in there, man. Wow. I watched it a time and a half. I ran out of time to watch the whole thing the second time, but I watched it the whole thing, and then watched it halfway through again, Bruce. Yeah, I'm gonna do my best. But great information. Okay, I'm gonna turn the sounds down a little. That's good. I got my daughter's dog over here. You hear him barking. I'm grand dog setting today. She went to Florida. Well, my wife is. She's doing the actual dog setting. I'm just here. You gotta walk him and feed him and all that stuff. I'm a cat man myself, but I'm sure y'all heard him out there barking. Her. It's a her. Trying to get to the top. We're gonna yeah, there we go. Lonnie Lee will be along. He only missed a little bit. I need that. Anybody coming? Nope. Okay. But everybody okay this Friday afternoon? The weather is beautiful. It's about low 70s here. I was out there in short sleeves today. Okay. The life and career of the Big Bear, Charles Sonny Liston. Showtime, the guy passed in the building. Our friend from St. Louis, Missouri. What's up, Showtime? How are you today, bro? Appreciate you stopping by. Talking this boxing history. Yeah, boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it and can't get enough of it. Boxing. It's man against man or woman against woman. You don't get to get tired and somebody come in and take your place. Oh no. You rest between rounds. And if you can't make it back out there, then you just lose. That's what makes it so great. Now you have a team in your corner, but when that bell rings, your team gets out of the corner and sits on the outside. They can shout instructions to you, but you are the one that have to execute it. Okay? That's you and your opponent. And like Jay Hardcore say, smash on that like button. Can we get 40 today? The record is 34. And we broke it Monday. It was 33. And we got 34 Monday. Those JBT panel shows been fire, man. Yeah. Getting good participation and fire boxing talk. But of course, we have all those knowledgeable people in the JBT on the panel. They had Jay Hardcore, Bruce Gass been up here, Coach Tommy, Attentive Aunt McQueen, Remo, the whole crew. Of course, the old school always come up here. Yeah. I'll get Al Booker up here. Al Booker been up here one time on the panel a while back. Yeah, he sure did. Remember that Al Booker when you came up that one day? Oh, you was giving me some information about the thumbnails or something. I forgot what it was, but yeah. Yeah, Al Booker's been up here. Okay, let's go. The life and career of the Big Bear, Charles Sonny Liston. Okay. Now Sonny Liston competed from 1953 to 1970. Okay. Now, he was a dominant contender and heavyweight champion of his era, right? Now, he won the championship in 1962, knocked out Floyd Patterson in the first round. And then the next year, he did the same thing, knocked Floyd out again in the first round. I think the second fight lasted about 4 seconds longer, I think. Okay. And he was the first ever WBC heavyweight champion, because that WBC began that same year, 1963. And Sonny Liston was the inaugural WBC heavyweight champion. Yep. And he's often regarded as one of the greatest boxers of all time. Not just heavyweight, just boxing, period, okay? And he was known for his immense strength, that formidable jab. He had a very long reach, toughness, and widely regarded as the most intimidating man in the history of the sport, okay? Even more intimidating than Mike Tyson himself, okay? Now, nicknamed the Big Bear for that heavyweight. He was 6'1", okay? And get this, he had a reach of 84 inches. So it was 6'1", but he had the reach of a 7-foot person, okay? Yeah. Extremely long reach. Fought out of the orthodox stance. Sonny did. He had a total of 54 fights, 54 professional fights, of which he won 50, he lost 4, and he had 39 by way of knockout. Okay, 39 knockouts. Now, at one time he was widely regarded as unbeatable, but he did lose his title in 1964 to Cassius Clay. Okay, and Clay came into that fight as an 8-1 underdog. Liston retired in his corner due to an inflamed shoulder injury. Now, controversy did follow the fight. It was said that Liston had been heavily drinking the night before. We're going to address all that shortly. And he entered the fight. He had a lame shoulder. He was his left shoulder, yeah. Then in the 1965 rematch, remember Cassius Clay had changed his name to Muhammad Ali by that point. It was an unexpected first round knockout. And it led to unresolved suspicions of a fix. And we're going to address that, yeah. That's where I got some very good information for you from Bruce Gass this morning. Yeah, we're going to address that shortly into the profile. Yeah. And at the time of the mysterious circumstances concerning his death in 1970, Liston was still a world-ranked boxer. At the time of his death, but still ranked. Now, he is widely regarded as a top 10 heavyweight all time by some very reputable boxing experts. Like, for example, the Ring magazine ranks Liston as the 10th greatest heavyweight of all time. And boxing writer Herb Goldman ranks him second. Richard O'Brien, senior editor of Sports Illustrated, ranked him third. And Alfred Potts Harmer in the Sportster also ranked Liston as the 3rd greatest heavyweight of all time and the 6th greatest boxer of any weight class all time. Yeah, and Box Story and Cast Sports has him as top 5 heavyweight of all time, yeah. And Sonny Liston was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1991. International Boxing Hall of Fame. Yep. Let's take a look at his early life. Sonny Liston's early life. Now, Charles Sonny, his birth is a lot of questions surrounding that. I'm going to address that. Charles Sonny Liston. Now, a lot of people say he was born in 1930, okay, into a sharecropping family that farmed the poor land of Moorledge Plantation, which was near Johnson Township, St. Francis County in Arkansas. His father, Tobe Liston, was in his mid-40s when he and Sonny's mother, Helen Basket, And Helen was almost 30 years younger than Tobe. And they moved to Arkansas from Mississippi in 1916. Now, Helen had one child before she married Tobe. And get this, Tobe already had 13 children, so that's 14 from his first marriage. Tobe and Helen had 12 children together, okay? That's 25. Sonny was the second youngest child, okay? 25 of them. Now let's address his date of birth, okay? Now, there is no official record of Sonny Liston's birth. Now, in his family home state of Arkansas, they did not make birth certificates mandatory until the year 1965. Now, his family can be found in the 1930 census, but nothing one Charles or Sonny Liston is mentioned, can be found in that 1930 census. And in the 1940 census, he was listed as 10 years old. Now, it has been suggested that Liston himself may not even know what year he was born, as he was not ever precise on the matter. Now, Liston believed his date of birth to be May 8th, 1932, and he used that for official purposes. But by the time he won the world title, he had an aged appearance, and that added to the credence to rumors that he was actually several years older than they actually said he was. Now, one writer concluded that Liston's most plausible date of birth was July 22nd, 1930, citing census records and statements from his mother during her lifetime. But I have it from a very reliable source that he was born in 1919, okay? So that would make him in his 40s when he became heavyweight champion in 1962. And both times when he fought Cassius Clay and when Clay changed his name to Ali, he was likely in his 40s for both of those fights. Yeah, because I have it on a very reliable source that Sonny Liston was born in 1919, okay? Incredible. That makes him 40 years old in his 40s when he became champion, and both times he fought Ali, okay? BN Boxing News in the building. Salute BN Boxing News. How are you today, bro? I was just talking about you, BN Boxing News. I was just saying, of all this good JBT activity we got, because it's early in the day, we might get a BN Boxing News out of it today sometime, okay? So turn your notifications on and hit the bell icon and hit all, because you want all that fire content from BN Boxing News. But salute BN Boxing News. Now, yeah, they have it from a very reliable source that Sonny Liston was born in 1919, okay? That puts him in his 40s when he became champion, and both times he fought Ali. But let's take a look at his youth. Now, his father inflicted whippings on Sonny so severe that guess what? The scars were still visible on Sonny, not years later, decades later. That's how bad his father beat him, okay? Sonny said, the only thing my father ever gave me was a beating. Now, in 1946, his mother, Helen, along with some of her children, moved to St. Louis to look for work, okay? Now, Liston at that time allegedly aged around 13. But if you add credence to that 1919 birth, that would have put him around 28, right? Add 15 years to that, okay? But anyway, his mother moved to St. Louis with some of the children. And Sonny remained in Arkansas with his father at the time, okay? Now, the following year, Sonny decided to reunite with his mother and some of the siblings. And he thrashed pecans from his brother-in-law's tree and sold them in Forest City, Arkansas. And with the money, he traveled to St. Louis to find and live with his mother. Okay. Now, Sonny tried to go to school, but he quickly gave up on that because he kept getting teased about his illiteracy. And the only employment he could find at that time was sporadic and exploitative. So he turned to crime. And they had a gang of thugs. And they committed muggings and armed robberies. Okay? Now, because of the shirt Sonny wore during the robberies, the police called him the Yellow Shirt Bandit. Okay, and he got caught in January 1950. Now he gave his age as 20 at that time. And the St. Louis Globe Democrat newspaper reported him to be about 22. Now, if you go with that 1919, that would make him about 31 at that time, right? Because this was 1950. So by that time, he was caught by the police in January 1950. He was arguably 31 years old, in his 30s. Now, he got convicted, right? Got sentenced to time in the Missouri State Penitentiary. And he started his prison time on June 1st, 1950. And there's a story about in prison where the other gangs, the Nazis, Hispanic gangs, they picked on the black inmates, right? And Sonny protected everybody. So, and he told the other gang leaders that the picking on the black inmates had to stop. And Sonny allegedly went into this part of the prison where you could fight undisturbed with 3 other gang leaders, right? And Sonny was the only one that walked out. The other 3 came out, but they didn't come out in too good of a condition. Okay. Sonny walked out first. Okay. Now, he never complained about prison. You know, he said he was guaranteed 3 meals a day every day in there. You know, that was more than he could say when he was on the outside, because remember, it was hard to find work. That's why he turned to crime. Okay. Lonnie Lee, hashtag JBT in the building. Told you Lonnie Lee was coming. What's up, Lonnie Lee? It's the weekend. Made it through another week. And big fights tomorrow. Let's salute Lonnie. The life and career of the Big Bear. Charles Sonny Liston today. Okay, let's get back to it. We're still in he hadn't got into boxing yet, but he's getting ready to. Now, yeah, he said he never complained about prison, because remember, he said he got 3 meals every day. He was guaranteed 3 meals every day in it. Probably about the first time he was ever guaranteed that, because he grew up very poor. He had 24 siblings. So yeah, he didn't complain about that. Now, the athletic director at the Missouri State Penitentiary was a guy named Reverend Alois Stevens, okay? He suggested to Sonny that he try boxing, okay? And his obvious aptitude, along with an endorsement from Stevens, who was also a priest, that aided Sonny in getting an early parole from prison. And that same guy, Stevens, organized a sparring session with a professional heavyweight named Thurman Wilson to showcase Liston's potential, right? And after 2 rounds, this guy he was sparring with was a professional heavyweight. After being in there with sparring with Sonny for 2 rounds, this guy had had enough. He told Stevens and the other people, "Y'all better get me out of here. This guy is going to kill me." Okay, so that was an early indication of Sonny's potential. Okay, now let's go to his amateur career. After he was released from prison on October 31st, 1952, Halloween. Right? He got out of prison October 31st, 1952. He had a brief amateur career that lasted less than a year. But he did win the Chicago Golden Gloves Tournament of Champions in March 1953. And he beat a guy that was a 1952 Olympic heavyweight champion, Ed Sanders, along the way to winning that Gold Gloves championship, okay? And then he outpointed Julius Griffin, winner of the New York Golden Gloves Tournament of Champions. And with that victory, he won the Inner City Golden Glove Championship, okay, representing Chicago. Now, he was knocked down in the first round, but he came back to control the next two rounds. And he had Griffin hanging on by the end of the fight. Now, then he competed in the United States National Championships at Boston Garden in 1953 and made it past the preliminaries. Stopped Lou Graff in the second round in April, but he lost in the quarterfinals to a 17-year-old named Jimmy McCarter. Okay? And he would later use McCarter as a sparring partner. Now, in June 1953, a team consisting of 10 recent St. Louis Golden Gloves champions of all weight classes, with Liston representing the heavyweight class. They were gathered to represent the United States in an international Golden Gloves, USA versus Western Europe. This was held at Kyle Auditorium in St. Louis. Did I say that right, Showtime? Was it Kiel Auditorium in St. Louis? Anyway, this competition was in St. Louis. And Liston knocked out this West German heavyweight who had won a bronze medal in the European Championship, okay? So all the time in the amateurs, he was showing indications of the potential he had as a boxer. And at that time, one of the St. Louis coaches of the Golden Gloves team, Tony Anderson, he stated that Liston was the strongest fighter he had ever seen. Okay. Our Booker says Sonny has the best stories. Yeah, it's more to come too. Then he embarked on his professional career. Early fights. Let's see. Get my slide display going here. Okay, yeah, I got it ready. Now, early fights. Let me bring this back over here. Excuse me for a minute. Early fights in Sonny Liston's professional career. Okay. They signed the contract in September 1953, and the contract said, "Whatever you tell me to do, I'll do." Now, the only backers that was willing to put up the necessary money for him to turn professional were close to underworld. We're close to underworld figures, okay? And Liston supplemented his income by working for racketeers as an intimidator, enforcer. So early in his career, the connections to organized crime were an advantage, but later they were used against Sonny, later in his career. Now, he made his professional debut on September 2nd, 1953. He knocked out a guy named Don Smith in the first round in St. Louis. And he fought his first 5 fights in St. Louis, okay? Now remember, he was 6'1", had that exceptionally powerful physique with an 84-inch reach. Okay, that's the reach of a 7-footer. And his fist measures 15 inches around. Okay, 15 inches. Yeah, look at that. I got the thing a little bit in the way, but see, look at that. His fist's almost half as big as his head. Look at that. 15 inches around. That's what they measured. And that was the largest of any heavyweight champion, okay? Sports Illustrated writer Mark Schornick said his hands looked like cannonballs when he made them in the fist. Now, Liston's noticeably more muscular left arm, crushing left jab, and powerful left hook lent credence to the widely held belief that he was left-handed. Also, he fought in an orthodox stance. Why didn't they just ask him? You know, are you left-handed? Are you right-handed or left-handed? Yeah, but you look at those fists, huge. Let me, oh shoot. You can't really get the true picture of what his fists look like. Yeah, let me move that out the way for a minute. See that? Oh, come on, get out the way. See that? There you go. Look at that, man. Look at his fist and look at his head. He's almost half as big as his head when he make a fist. Incredible. Incredible. Okay. Now, early in his career, he faced some very good opponents. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to get my slide display going now. Excuse me for a minute, please. Here he is. Not a good picture, but that's him. In his sixth fight. Oh, that's not him. Here it is. Not a very good picture. In his sixth fight, he faced ranked heavyweight Johnny Summerlin. Came in 18 wins, 1 loss, 2 draws. So he's facing ranked heavyweights in his sixth fight, okay? Now that's on the fast track there. This guy was 18-1, 2 draws, and it was a ranked heavyweight. And this fight was on national television. And Sonny beat him in an 8-round decision. In his next fight, he had a rematch with Summerlin and won another 8-round decision. And both fights were in Summerlin's hometown of Detroit. Okay. Okay. I'm done with you, Summerlin. Then, in September of '54, he suffered his first loss, okay? And that was his 8th professional fight, losing to Marty Marshall, a journeyman with an awkward style. In the 3rd round, Marshall nailed Liston, reportedly while he was laughing, and broke his jaw. Now, Liston finished the fight, but he lost the 8-round split decision. He did get decision on one judge's card. But in 1955, he defeated Marshall in the rematch, dropped him 4 times en route to a 6-round knockout. And they had a 3rd fight too in 1956. Liston won that one by a 10-round unanimous decision. Okay. Now, Sonny's criminal record, compounded by a personal association with a notorious labor racketeer, led to the police stopping him on sight, okay? Police started stopping him on sight. And Sonny actually started to avoid main streets, going through alleys and stuff. That's how much the police was stopping him. Then, in May 1956, a policeman confronted Liston and a friend about a cab parked near Liston's home. And the policeman, it was Liston, and I think it was his wife. I don't know if he was married to her yet, but the police started calling Liston names, racist names, and he called his female friend names, right? So Liston assaulted the officer, broke his leg, and gashed his face. And he also reportedly took the policeman's gun. You know, Sonny said the policeman used the racial slurs against him and his friend. Now, widely publicized account of Sonny resisting arrest, even after nightsticks were allegedly broken over his skull, added to the public perception of him as a nightmarish monster, impervious to physical punishment. And get this, after doing all that to the policeman, he only served 6 months of a 9-month sentence. Okay, so you know, the policeman had to be some wrongdoing from the police in that. You beat up a policeman, take his gun, broke his leg, gashed his head, and only get 9 months? Come on, man. That's like 20-year sentence at least there. So yeah, so the policeman had to have some wrongdoing involved in that. But anyway, he only got 9 months, of which he served 6. Okay. And then after repeated overnight detentions by the St. Louis police and a thinly veiled threat on his life, it was reported that the police chief told him he better leave town before he gets found in the alley somewhere dead. So after that, Liston moved to Philadelphia. He left St. Louis and moved to Philly. Okay. Let's look at his journey to the heavyweight title. And he was out of boxing, I believe, for like a year, 18 months, something like that. But anyway, in 1958, he returned to boxing. And he won 8 fights that year, 1958, 6 by knockout. And he also got a new manager in 1958. His new manager was, that's not his new manager. There's his new manager right there. Okay. His new manager was Joseph Pep Barone, okay? And Joseph was a front man for Monsters, Frankie Carbo and Frank Blinky Palermo. But the next year, 1959, was a banner one for Liston. After he knocked out contender Mike DeJohn in 6 rounds. That's when he faced Cleveland Williams. Oh, I see what I did. Yeah. Anyway, that's Cleveland Williams right there. Okay. He faced Cleveland Williams. Cleveland was a fast-handed fighter who was billed as the hardest-hitting heavyweight in the world. Okay. And against him, Liston showed durability, power, and skill. And he nullified Williams' best work and stopped him in the 3rd round. And this win is thought of by many as Liston's most impressive performance. And he finished out the year by stopping Nino Valdez and Will Besmanov. Then, in 1960, he won 5 more fights, including a rematch with Williams, who lasted only 2 rounds this time. He beat Roy Harris, who had gone 13 rounds with Floyd Patterson, who was the champion at the time. And Harris was crushed by Liston in 1 round. I guess that's why Patterson was ducking. Then top contender Zor Foley. Liston stopped him in 3 rounds. Okay. And after demolishing those 3, Bacon, Williams, and Foley, Liston was regarded as the top contender, champion in waiting. And he had a 9-straight knockout streak going at that time. But then it ended. He won a unanimous 12-round decision against Eddie Machin. Yeah, that was, excuse me. Yeah, he beat Williams, Harris, and Foley. Those were the three that made him the top contender, champion in waiting. But his 9-fight knockout streak ended against Eddie Machin. He got a 12-round decision against him in September 1960. And Machin's mobility enabled him to go the distance. But he was clearly outpointed. And Liston was penalized for a low blow in the 11th round. And Machin was taunting, dodging, and grappling for the entire fight. At one point, he almost heaved Liston over the top rope. And it made the audience so mad that they started giving Liston support, which he was unaccustomed to from the crowd, okay? And before Muhammad Ali fought Liston, he consulted Machin. And Machin told him the way to survive against Liston was to make him lose his temper. Okay. But then there was a title challenge delay, okay, when he was trying to get in the ring with Floyd Patterson. Now, he became the #1 contender in 1960. But the handlers of Floyd Patterson, who was the heavyweight champion at the time, they refused to give Liston a shot at the title because of his links to organized crime, okay? And Liston was beginning to work himself in shape for the hopes of a heavyweight shot. But he also continued his criminal behavior. He had 2 more arrests, disorderly conduct and resisting arrest, and another one for impersonating a cop. And that led to him being suspended by the Pennsylvania Athletic Commission in July 1961. And guess what? The suspension was honored in all states. And Patterson's manager, Cus D'Amato, and Cus himself was associated with racketeers, okay? And Cus had his manager's license revoked by the New York State Athletic Commission for alleged misconduct in connection with the Floyd Patterson-Ingemar Johansson title fight in June 1959. So Cus D'Amato wasn't exactly this big innocent figure. And he had negative impacts on the careers of a few fighters, like Eddie Machin, Cleveland Williams, and Sonny, okay? Yeah, Cus was kind of terrible. And civic leaders were also reluctant, wherein a Liston's unsavory character would set a bad example for youth. And the NAACP had urged Patterson not to fight Liston, fearing that a Liston win would hurt the civil rights movement. And many African Americans at the time disdained Liston. And Liston was asked by a young white reporter why he was not fighting for freedom in the South. And Liston said, "I ain't got no dog-proof ass." He was referring to the use of police dogs against protesters. Liston said, "I ain't got no dog-proof ass." Okay. Now, however, in 1963, in the aftermath of the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing, Liston was on a European boxing exhibition tour at the time. He broke it off and returned home. And he said he was ashamed to be in America. And even the president, okay, John F. Kennedy himself, even the president, John F. Kennedy himself, did not want Patterson to fight Liston. Because Patterson had a visit at the White House with Kennedy in 1962. And Kennedy told Patterson to avoid Liston. Kennedy cited Justice Department concerns over Liston's ties to organized crime. Even the president was against this man getting a title shot. And also, former heavyweight champion Jack Dempsey put his 2 cents worth in it. Okay? Yeah, Jack Dempsey put his 2 cents worth in too. There's Jack right there. Yeah. Jack Dempsey spoke for many people when he was quoted as saying that Sonny Liston should not be allowed to fight for the title. And Liston responded by questioning whether Dempsey's failure to serve in World War I qualified him to moralize. So Liston was frustrated by that time. In 1961, he changed his management. And he applied pressure through the media by remarking that Patterson, who had faced mostly white challengers since becoming champion, was drawing the color line against his own race. The Patterson maintained that he desperately wanted to fight Liston, but was blocked by his trainer, Macho. Okay. So Patterson claimed he wanted to fight Liston, but he claimed that his manager, Macho, was blocking the fight. Okay? But I don't believe Patterson really wanted to fight him. But anyway, finally, the fight was made. Patterson versus Liston. Okay? Yeah, Patterson finally signed to fight Liston for the World Heavyweight Championship, September 25th, 1962, in Comiskey Park, Chicago, Illinois. Now, leading up to the fight, Liston was an 8-5 betting favorite, although a lot of people picked Patterson to win. Now, in an Associated Press poll, 102 reporters were polled. 64 of them picked Patterson to win. Sports Illustrated predicted a Patterson victory in 15 rounds, stating, Sonny has neither Floyd's speed nor the versatility of his attack. He is a relatively elementary one-track fighter. Former champions, James J. Braddock, Jersey Joe Walcott, Ezzard Charles, Rocky Marciano, and Ingemar Johansson all picked Patterson to win. Muhammad Ali, at the time, he was a rising contender named Cassius Clay. He predicted a knockout by Liston in the first 5 rounds. Ali was right. And the fight turned out to be a mismatch. Liston came in with a 25-pound weight advantage. Liston came in at 214. Patterson came in at 189, which Patterson would be a cruiserweight these days. Okay? Yeah, Patterson would be a cruiserweight now. And Liston knocked out Patterson at 2:06 of the first round. And he put him down with a powerful right-left hook to the jaw. One writer said, when he heard Liston's left hook crash into Patterson's cheek, it sounded like a diesel rig going downhill with no brakes. It was the 3rd fastest knockout in a world heavyweight title fight in history. And it was the first time ever that a defending champion had been knocked out in the first round. Okay? So Liston took the first fight. So now, he's the world heavyweight champion, Sonny Liston. He was living in Philly, remember? So when he won the championship, he had a speech prepared for the crowd that friends had assured him would meet him at the Philadelphia airport when he returned home. But when he got there, he was met by only a handful of reporters and public relations staff. About 50 people were there. One writer said, I watched Sonny. His eyes swept the entire scene, You could feel the deflation, see the look of hurt in his eyes. He had been deliberately snubbed. Philadelphia wanted nothing to do with him. Yep. And at this point, by the absence of a crowd or parade upon his arrival home, that was the point where Sonny just abandoned any hope of being accepted as a champion. Okay? And from this point on, he would play into the stereotypes that reporters made on him. Okay? Departing from any effort to appear admirable and affectionate toward the public. So at that point, he just said, hell with it. I'm gonna be what y'all want me to be, okay? And this was an era when white journalists still described Black athletes in stereotypes. Liston had long been a target of racially charged slurs. He was called a gorilla and a jungle beast in print. Remember Larry Merchant? Remember the one that Floyd got into it in the ring? Told him he don't know shit about boxing. Larry Merchant was a writer for the Philadelphia Daily News at the time. Okay? He wrote an article and he said that they should have a ticker tape parade for Liston. And for the confetti, they can use torn up arrest warrants. And he also wrote, his victory over Patterson shows that a fair fight between good and evil, evil must win. And a lot of writers thought Liston brought bad press upon himself with his surly and hostile attitude toward the press. And he also had a reputation for bullying people, such as reporters and waitresses. And see, a lot of this stuff that, the perception of him just wasn't right, Yeah. He got a bad rap from a lot of writers, like Larry Merchant. Albert Cosell hated him. Yeah. So a lot of this stuff was bestowed on him. It just wasn't the truth. And he had run-ins. Remember, he left St. Louis because of the police, but when he got to Philly, they were waiting on him, okay? It's reported that when he first moved to Philly, police had pictures of him in both visors in their cars, so all the police would know what he looked like, okay? So it got no better for him as far as the police when he got to Philly. And he particularly resented the 1961 arrest by a Black patrolman for loitering. And he said he was merely signing autographs and chatting with fans outside a drugstore. Then a month later, he was accused of impersonating a police officer by using a flashlight to wave down a female motorist. But all charges were later dropped. Then after Philly, he spent a few months in Denver, where he was also unwanted. And a priest there tried to help him bring his drinking under control. But after he won the title, he relocated to Denver permanently, saying, "I'd rather be a lamppost in Denver than the mayor of Philadelphia." And him and Patterson did have a rematch, okay? And the second fight was in July 1963 in Las Vegas. And this was the first $1 million purse, with both fighters receiving around $1,400 apiece. Now, Patterson was a 4-1 betting underdog in this fight. He was knocked down 3 times and counted out at 2:10 of the first round. This second fight lasted only 4 seconds longer than the first fight. And Liston's win was loudly booed, okay? And he said, "I know the public is not with me. I know it. But they'll have to swing along until somebody comes along to beat me." And that's when the Liston and Clay situation began. It was Cassius Clay in the first fight, okay? Liston versus Clay. His second title defense after the rematch against Patterson was February 25th, 1964 in Miami Beach, Florida against Cassius Clay. Liston came in a heavy favorite. In a pre-fight poll, 46 sports writers were polled. 43 of them picked Liston to win by knockout. Okay? 43 out of 46 writers picked Liston to win by knockout. And the odds makers gave Liston 8-1 odds. And Clay said, if you want to lose your money, then bet on Sonny. And Liston was supremely confident of easily beating Clay. Trained minimally for the fight and went ahead with it despite an injury to his left shoulder. Okay? Now from the opening bell, Liston attempted to close with Clay, looking to land a hard punch to the head to end the fight quickly. Although Clay often curled his gloves down at his waist, seemingly open to attack, he proved very difficult to hit. With Clay quickly ducking his head, left, right, or away, Liston's leading left jabs largely failed to land. And as Liston pursued Clay, he retreated, using his foot speed to slip away into open space in the ring, largely circling to his left and away from the threat of Liston's left hook. Now, Clay was largely on the defense in the first round, but he did establish that he could reverse roles quickly and go on the offensive, because he had a remarkably fast series of combinations delivered to Liston's head to end the round. Okay. In the opening round, they fought an extra 8 seconds because neither of the fighters or the referee heard the bell. Yeah, remember that. I saw that on film. Yeah, they fought for like 8 seconds past the bell. Then in the second round, Liston continued to pursue Clay. And at one point, he had Clay against the ropes and landed a hard left hook. And Clay did say later he had been hurt by that punch, but Liston was unable to press his advantage. Didn't take advantage of it. And after 2 rounds, 2 of the 3 judges had Liston ahead 2 rounds and 1 round even. Now in the third round, Clay began to take control of the fight. 30 seconds into the round, he hit Liston with several combinations, causing a bruise under Liston's right eye and a cut on his left. And that ended up requiring 8 stitches to close. It was the first time Sonny had ever been cut in a fight. And Clay even rocked Liston in that round and drove him into the ropes. And Liston was angry after that, and he rallied at the end of the round, because Clay looked kind of tired, and Liston got him with a couple of punishing body shots at the end of the round. Now during the fourth, Liston appeared kind of dominant in the 4th round, and Clay began to keep his distance. Joe Louis was commenting on TV at ringside, and he said, "It's looking good for Sonny." However, when Clay returned to his corner, he started complaining that there was something burning in his eyes and he could not see. Angelo Dundee said, "I didn't know what the heck was going on." And 25 years later, he said, "Clay told him to cut my gloves off. I want to prove to the world there's dirty work afoot." But Angelo refused to do it. And what happened was, I got this from a very reliable source too, was that now Sonny's corner was using some kind of solution on the cuts on his eye, and even on his hurt shoulder too. And by him having that solution on his shoulder, during the round, Clay had his forehead on Liston's shoulder. Some of the solution got on Clay's forehead. And when he went back to the corner, Angelo Dundee was like wiping the sweat, wiping down on Clay's face. And it's likely that Angelo Dundee was not purposely, Angelo Dundee was the one that put that solution in Clay's eyes. It wasn't nothing dirty going on. Okay. That's likely what happened. Angelo Dundee wiped the solution in Clay's eyes, which he got on his forehead off leaning against Liston's shoulder, which his corner was putting solution on. It didn't seem like it was nothing intentional to that. But anyway, by the end of the next round, Clay's eyes had cleared up. And at the end of the sixth round, Sonny Liston didn't come out, and Clay became the heavyweight champion of the world. Okay. Liston failed to answer the bell for the seventh round. Ray Patterson, straight out of New Jersey, in the building. Working my way through this Sonny Liston profile, Ray. They're up to the first Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay fight. Let's salute Ray Patterson. Okay, so now Sonny, he won the heavyweight title in 1962, and he loses it to Cassius Clay in 1964. Okay? And at the point where the fight ended, the judges had it scored even. Okay? It was the first time since 1919 when Jack Dempsey defeated Jess Willard that a world heavyweight champion had quit on his stool. Now, Liston said he quit because of a shoulder injury. Okay? And Dr. Alexander Robbins, chief physician for the Miami Beach Boxing Commission, diagnosed Liston with a torn tendon in his left shoulder. So his shoulder really was injured. Okay? And there's other evidence. There's ample evidence that Liston did carry an injury to his left shoulder into the fight. Sports Illustrated writer Tex Marley wrote that Liston's shoulder injury was legitimate. He cited Liston's inability to lift his arm. There's no doubt that Liston's arm was damaged. In the sixth round, he carried it at belt level, so that it was of no help in warding off the right crosses with which Clay probed at the cut width on his left eye. And he also cited medical evidence. A team of 8 doctors inspected Liston's arm at St. Francis Hospital in Miami Beach and agreed that it was too badly damaged for Liston to continue fighting. The torn tendon had bled down into the mass of the biceps, swelling and numbing the arm. So he really did come into the fight with an injury. But then they had a rematch. This is before the first fight. And Clay had Liston so pissed off, he went there. He had a shoulder injury, plus he didn't fight his fight. He went in and fought angry. Okay? So those were two big disadvantages he was at going into the fight. But they had the rematch. Ali versus Liston too. Okay. And Liston trained hard for this rematch. He was in tip-top shape and ready, okay? And it was scheduled to take place November 13th, 1964 in Boston, Massachusetts. Okay. But 3 days before the fight, Ali needed emergency surgery for a strangulated hernia. The fight would have to be delayed by 6 months. Now, the new date was set for May 25th, 1965. But as it approached, there were fears that the promoters were tied to organized crime, and Massachusetts officials, most notably Suffolk County District Attorney Garrett H. Byrne, began to have second thoughts about having a fight there in Massachusetts, okay? And on May 7th, backers of the rematch ended the controversy and pulled the fight out of Boston. Now, they needed a new location and they needed it quickly, whatever the size, okay? and it ended up being moved to Maine. Okay. Governor John H. Reed of Maine stepped forward, and within a few hours, the promoters had a new site, Lewiston, Maine, which was a mill town with a population of about 41,000, and that was 140 miles north of Boston. Okay? Now, the ending of that second fight remains one of the most controversial in boxing history. Now, midway through the first round, Liston threw a left jab, and Ali went over it with a fast right, knocking the former champion down. Liston went down on his back. He rolled over, got to his right knee, and then fell on his back again. Many in attendance did not see Ali deliver the punch. The fight quickly descended into chaos. Now, again, from that very reliable source, I have it that it was the day before, a couple days before the fight, a couple of members of the Nation of Islam went into Sonny Liston's dressing room and put a gun to his head and told him he could not win this fight. Okay? And you know that had to shake Liston up. So then, on the morning of the fight, Liston had left his suite, went to prepare for the fight. A group of Nation of Islam members went to his suite and knocked on the door where Liston's wife, Helen, and their child was. The Nation of Islam members went in and told Mrs. Liston, "We will be here with you for the day." And a couple hours later, Liston got the news that they had his wife. So what would you do? So he went in there and threw the fight. Okay? He had no choice. These people had his wife and kid. And he made the dive look bad because he wanted to make sure everybody knew it was fixed. That's why he went down like he did, okay? So that's what happened with that. And Ali knew nothing about this because he wouldn't have stood for that. You know, he wouldn't have wanted any kind of help like this. So he knew nothing about it, okay? But that's the story I have on it. But anyway, chaos broke out after he went down. Jersey Joe Walcott, former heavyweight champion himself, he had a hard time getting Ali to go to a neutral corner because Ali initially stood over Liston, telling him to get up and fight, you know, saying nobody will believe this. Okay, so Walcott had Ali never did go to the neutral corner. And the referee that refereed the first Ali Liston fight was in the audience. And he stated that if that would have been him in Walcott's place, he would have disqualified Ali for not going to the neutral corner quick enough, you know, at least walking toward it, right? But anyway, Walcott never made the count. It's alleged that Nat Fleischer, the founder of Ring Magazine, who was in the audience, was the one that stopped the fight. Just do boxing. Yeah, but a lot of controversy surrounded that second fight, the way it ended. But Liston didn't have any choice. It said that the Nation of Islam had his wife and his child hostage. And not too many people knew about this. So the reason any kind of investigation went on, because people were scared, were afraid to say anything, because only a handful of people knew about this at the time, you know. Just Do Boxing, the voice in the building. Salute Just Do Boxing. Coming up in about a half hour. Yeah, so that's how the second fight ended, and that controversy still goes on to this day, okay? But yeah, Liston fell, got back up to a knee. They say he looked at Walcott and asked him why he didn't start counting. Walcott was trying to get Ali to go to the neutral corner, and the referee that did the first fight was in the audience. He said he would have disqualified Ali. Okay. Yeah, and Nat Fleischer from Ring Magazine, he in the audience waving his hands to stop the fight. He had nothing to do with it. He just a spectator like everybody else. He just happened to be the founder of Ring Magazine, that's all. Yeah, okay. So this fight ranks as one of the shortest heavyweight title fights in history. Many in the small crowd had not even settled in their seats when the fight was stopped. The official time of the stoppage was announced at 1 minute into the first round, which was wrong. Liston went down at 1:44, got up at 1:56, and Walcott stopped the fight at 2:12. But Liston never got up. Okay. So the real time of the stoppage is not even really known, to tell you the truth. Now, numerous fans booed and started yelling "fix." Many did not see the punch land, and some who did see it land questioned that it was powerful enough to knock Liston out. Now, a punch did land, but that's the thing. Was it powerful enough to knock Liston out? Mark Cram, the fight, okay, because he was afraid of getting taken out by the nation. That's right, Albert. That's exactly what happened. Yeah, I got the story from a very reliable source this morning. That's exactly what they had. His wife and his child too, and they'd already put a gun to his head a couple of days before the fight. Now, they let his wife and his child go a few hours before the fight, but the threat was still there, and Liston knew about it. Now, Ali didn't know anything about this, because Ali wouldn't have had nothing to do with anything like that. You know, he would have tried to call it off if he'd have known about it. And it's called the anchor punch or the phantom punch. Now, there were some people who believed the fight was legitimate. World light heavyweight champion Jose Torres said it was a perfect punch. Jim Murray of the Los Angeles Times wrote that it was no phantom punch. And Tex Marley of Sports Illustrated wrote the blow had so much force it lifted Liston's left foot, upon which most of his weight was resting well off the canvas. I don't know what they was looking at. I've seen it many times. I ain't seen nothing like that. Because Liston actually aimed, because Liston threw the jab first before Ali got him with that punch. And he aimed the jab at Ali's chest, just inviting him to punch over top of it, you know? And Ali looked shocked. Yeah, after I got this information, I went back and looked at it too. And Liston actually aimed the left jab at Ali's chest. Gave him plenty of room to come right over top of it with that right hand, which he did. But some people actually believe it was a good knockout. But I'm not one of them. Yeah. Now, Ali clearly did not think that he knocked Liston out. In his own words, Ali said the punch jarred him. It was a good punch, but I didn't think I hit him so hard that he couldn't have gotten up. Once he went down, I got excited. I forgot about the rules. And Liston was quoted as saying, Ali knocked me down with a sharp punch. I was down, but not hurt. But I looked up and saw Ali standing over me. Ali is waiting to hit me. The ref can't control him. Now, while Liston publicly denied taking a dive, now here's what she was talking about, Al Booker. Now, while Liston publicly denied taking a dive, Sports Illustrated writer Mark Cram said, years later, Liston told him that guy Ali was crazy. I didn't want anything to do with it. And the Muslims were coming up. Who needed that? So I went down. I wasn't hit. And Liston did not complain about the clear breach of boxing rules being declared knocked out without a count. Okay? In Ali's obvious state of bewilderment, shouting at Liston, nobody will believe this, and asking his handlers, did I hit him? Confirmed most people's belief that Liston had taken a dive. But he didn't have a choice. They had his wife and his child. Okay. Now after that, Liston fought on. Okay. After the second loss to Ali, he stayed out of the ring for more than a year. Then he returned with 4 consecutive knockout victories in Sweden between July 1966 and April 1967. All four were co-promoted by former world heavyweight champion Ingemar Johansson. One of the wins was over Amos Johnson, Liston's former sparring partner. And Amos Johnson had recently defeated British champion Henry Cooper. Now, when Ali got stripped in 1967, remember they had the tournament for the titles. Liston was denied entry to it. Okay. Yep. Then he won. After that, he won 7 fights, all by knockout, in 1968. And the first fight in the United States since the Ali rematch was when he fought 5th-ranked Henry Clark in a nationally broadcast fight in July 1968. And he won that by a 7th-round technical knockout and seemed on the verge of making a comeback to the big time. And he talked of a fight with Joe Frazier, claiming it'd be like shooting fish in a barrel. But he never got that fight with Joe Frazier. But he did win 14 consecutive fights, 13 by knockout. Then he had a fight against 3rd-ranked Leotis Martin in December 1969. Now, he dropped Martin with the left hook in the 4th round and dominated most of the fight. But Martin came back and knocked Liston out cold in the 9th round. He was out before he hit the floor. But for Martin, his career ended after that fight due to a detached retina. Now, Liston's last fight, he won. It was a tough, but it was a one-sided fight against future world title challenger Chuck Webner, the inspiration for Rocky. That was in June 1979. The fight was stopped after the 9th round due to cuts over both of Webner's eyes. Webner needed 72 stitches and suffered a broken cheekbone and nose. And Webner also fought George Foreman and Muhammad Ali. But after his career was over, he said that Liston was the hardest puncher he'd ever been in the ring with. And he fought Foreman and Ali. Take a look at Liston's personal life. Personal life, winding down. There's him and his wife right there. Okay. He married Geraldine Chambers in St. Louis, Missouri on September 3rd, 1957. I made a mistake earlier and called his wife Helen, but that was his mother. His wife's name was Geraldine. Yeah. His mother's name was Helen. But anyway, he married Geraldine in St. Louis, Missouri on September 3rd, 1957. Now, Geraldine had a daughter from a previous marriage, and the Listons adopted a boy from Sweden. Now, Sonny's biographer, Paul Gallagher, claims that Liston fathered several children, though none with his wife. Now, Geraldine remembered her husband as great with me, great with the kids. He was a gentle man. Now, although Sonny was largely illiterate due lack of schooling, okay, he was a more complex and interesting individual than is often been acknowledged. Former light heavyweight champion Jose Torres said, "I have never met an athlete in baseball, basketball, or football who is smarter, more intelligent than Sonny Liston." Let's talk about Sonny's death right quick. The mysterious death of Sonny Liston. Not Jack Dempsey. Just Sonny and Geraldine with the small child. Okay. Yeah, Ali knew Al Booker, but he didn't have nothing to do with the fix. He didn't know the Nation of Islam had Sonny's wife, because Ali wouldn't have stood for that. I don't know if he had the power to stop what was going on, but he wouldn't have liked it. Definitely would not have liked it. many likes we working with? 15. What is going on? Okay. Now, he was found dead by his wife, Geraldine, in their Las Vegas home on January 5th, 1971. Now, Geraldine was returning from a 2-week trip, and she smelled a foul odor emanating from the main bedroom. And upon entering, she saw Sonny slumped up against the bed, a broken footbench on the floor. Now, authorities theorized that he was undressing for bed when he fell over backward with such force that he broke the rail of the bench. Now, Geraldine called Liston's attorney and his doctor, but did not notify the police until 2 or 3 hours later. But everybody knows the mob killed Sonny, because I have from a very good source again that this one guy's father was in the mafia, and he said his father told him that no doubt the mafia killed Sonny. Now, following an investigation, Las Vegas police concluded there was no signs of foul play and declared Liston's death a heroin overdose. Now, Liston was terrified of needles. Now, this to tell you somebody terrified of needles. Liston had a root canal, and he was so scared of needles, he did the root canal without Novocaine, okay? Because he didn't want to take the needle. That ain't somebody that's going to inject the needle, some heroin into the arm with a needle. And they claim it was common, the police said it was common knowledge that Sonny was a heroin addict, said Sergeant Caputo, one of the investigative police officers. The whole department knew about it. The date of his death listed on his death certificate is December 30th, 1970, which police estimated by judging the number of milk bottles and newspapers around the front door of the property. Coroner Mark Hermanstead, traces of heroin byproducts were found in Liston's system, but not in amounts large enough to have caused his death. Also, scar tissue, possibly from needle marks, was found in the bend of Liston's left elbow. Now, that was said was there because he had went and gave some blood at a hospital recently, before that, okay? The toxicology report said his body was too decomposed for the test to be conclusive. Officially, Liston died of lung congestion and heart failure. He had been suffering from hardening of the heart muscle and lung disease before his death. Liston had been hospitalized in early December, complaining of chest pains. Now, he's buried at Paradise Memorial Gardens in Las Vegas, Nevada. The grave's marker plate bears the dedication, a man. And theories. Now, the same sergeant, Dennis Caputo, of the Clark County Sheriff's Department, was one of the first officers on the scene. Now listen, he said he found a 1/4 ounce of heroin in a balloon in the kitchen and a 1/2 ounce of marijuana in Liston's pants pocket, but no syringes or needles. Some found suspicious that authorities could not locate any drug paraphernalia that Liston presumably would have needed to inject the fatal dose, such as a spoon to cook the heroin or a tourniquet to wrap around his arm. However, according to former police Sergeant Gary Beckwith, it wasn't uncommon for family members in these cases to go through and tidy up, to have family to save family embarrassment. And isn't that ridiculous? This policeman going to say the other paraphernalia wasn't there because the family went through and cleaned up. Why would they clean up and leave a balloon of heroin on the counter in the kitchen and a bag of marijuana in his pocket? Wouldn't those have been the first 2 things they'd have cleaned up? So that theory is out the window about somebody came through and took the paraphernalia. They're going to come through and clean up, but leave heroin on the counter in the kitchen and marijuana in his pocket. Come on, man. That's just ridiculous right there. That police officer should have been fired. Come up with some BS like that. Somebody went through and cleaned up, but left heroin on the counter and marijuana in his pocket. Crazy. Now, many people who knew Liston insisted he was afraid of needles and never would have used them. He had a deadly fear of needles, said Davy Pearl, a boxing referee and friend of Liston. There was nothing Sonny feared more than a needle. I know. Liston's Philadelphia dentist. Now here's the thing about the Novocaine, Dr. Nick Ragley. He was so afraid of needles, he would do everything to avoid taking needles. Remember, he had the root canal and didn't even take the shot of Novocaine, and that's very painful. Okay? But isn't that a good one about somebody went through and cleaned up and left a balloon of heroin on the counter and marijuana in his pocket? Wouldn't those have been the main things they would have cleaned up if they trying to hide somebody to use the heroin, right? You definitely wouldn't leave the heroin there. Come on, man. Get him off your kilter. Now, the month before he died, some guy ran into Sonny while he was making a left turn. He had a whiplash, so they took him to the hospital. The boxing trainer, Johnny Taco, he said, "Look what they did." And he was pointing at some neat little bandage over the needle marks in his arm. He was more angry about the needle marks than he was about the car wreck. A couple weeks later, he was still complaining about that needle mark. To this day, I'm convinced that's what the coroner saw in the exam on his arm. The hospital, needle marks. Yes. Sonny Liston. And it goes on and on about his death, but it's still mysterious to this day. But the police know what happened. You know how that goes. And he's in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. And despite being effectively blacklisted by the boxing establishment and press during his career, Liston achieved a level of public awareness that is rare for a sports person. And this has endured. His reputation as a great boxer with a unique, though daunting persona has grown steadily over the decades following his death. A bronze copy of a marble statue of Liston sculpted by Alfred Herdlinka in 1964 was erected in 2008 between Old Castle and Karlplatz in Stuttgart, Germany. A successful horse race. A successful racehorse, which won the Irish St. Leger Classic race in 2021, was named Sonny Boy Liston. Another unconnected and unrelated horse's name, Sonny Liston, finished second in the Royal Hunt Cup at Royal Ascot in 2023. Sonny Liston, Charles Sonny Liston, that is. There you have it. And today is Friday. I'll be back Monday with the JBT panel discussion. Okay? Just Do Boxing coming up at 4. We have a 8 o'clock hangout tonight. It's the Friday night hangout. So Jake Hardcore will be back in the hangout at 8. Rise podcast at 9. Appreciate everybody rocking with me again. Weigh in today. Well, they already had it. Bruce Gassett at Fury weighed 262. And what was Usyk, 233.5? 12 pounds above. That's the heaviest he's 12 pounds up. That's the heaviest he's ever been. I think his previous heaviest was 221. So, wow. Interesting. I still got Fury though. Because by tomorrow, the weight differential will be a lot bigger than some. I think that's what 20. What is that? 233 and 262 is like 20-something pounds, right? I believe that's what it was. But it'll be more than that tomorrow. A lot more. By the time they Fury probably going to be about 270 at least. I'm trying to see what Bruce Gass said the weight was. I still got it right here. There it is. But Yeah, Fury was 262. Usyk was 233.5. That's about 28 and a half, right? Yeah. Still a big difference, but not as much as I thought it would be. But it'll be more by tomorrow. And then the other card, Navarrete. I got Navarrete. And then all four belts are spread out at 135 again. I think Loma gets the winner of Navarrete, and it's got Baranchik tomorrow. And Slick Shakur Stevenson will probably fight the winner of that. And then the winner of that fight, Tank for undisputed. If it's Tank versus Slick Shakur Stevenson, that would be a huge fight. A huge fight. Slick Shakur Stevenson about the only one to have any remote chance of beating Tank out of all the fighters down there at 135, I think. It'd be very interesting. Boxer versus boxer puncher, or puncher boxer. But we got them lined up. We got AB in 3 weeks. Kenny Ellis is AB's trainer. Wow, that's a good move, AB. I bet you AB let them hands go now. Kenny in his corner. I guarantee you, he's gonna let him go. That is a great move. That'll make me lean toward AB now. I wasn't sure about AB and Blair Cobb, but now I'm leaning toward AB. I just found out that this morning. Kenny Ellis in his corner. Great move, AB. Wow. It's a boss move. What y'all think? Kenny Ellis will be. Who was AB's trainer before? I can't even remember. Yeah, that was a hell of a life, wasn't it, Al Booger? And then die like that. Yeah. He was killed by the mob, though. Yeah. I think they had threatened him about a little while before his death, too. Yeah. I believe they had. And they got him. Because I told you the guy, father was in the mafia. I think he said he knew about it or he was there when it happened or something, but his father told him the mafia did it. But another big week of cash sports coming up next week, starting with the JBT panel discussion. And the JBT meeting is tomorrow again. I didn't see Remo today. He must be working hard, I guess. We go eat me some spaghetti in about 10 minutes when I get up off of here. The boys coming up next. We had a skeleton crew today, but I appreciate everybody that stopped by. I'm gonna get those 40 likes one of these days. Soon got 34 Monday. That JBT panel discussion is always attracts a lot of people. So that'll be Monday. Maybe we can get that 40. We'll see. But again, another big week of shows I'm going to work on them this weekend. I know Wednesday is going to be the judges' show. Judging criteria, boxing rules, look at some judges, the Queensberry rules, criteria they use, like ring generalship, defense, clean punches, the type of decisions, draws. We're going to look at all of that next Wednesday. And another big week on Cash Sports, the Box Story. On boxing, the greatest sport of them all. That is why we love it and can't get enough of it. Yep. One of the sports that's one-on-one, where you don't get no help. You get advice. But once you're in that ring and that bell sounds, you don't get any help. It's just you. And you can't say, I'm tired, send somebody in here. You're in for the duration. If you can't go on, then you just lose. Your opponent gets the win. That's boxing. And I believe that card tomorrow is I know the main event is at 6, so the card must start about 2 or 3. I know the Day of Reckoning started at 2. So yeah, it's got to start about 2 or 3, something like that. Whatever time, I'll be there. And Heavyweight Undisputed is good for boxing. We're going to have one tomorrow. Well, we might get a draw, though, you know. But it's a rematch. It's not going to be 2 draws. And if it's 1-1, I know we're going to get a trilogy. That'll be great. Get a trilogy. Heavyweight division. I got Fury winning both fights, though. I don't see a trilogy. But I'm getting ready to get out of here. It's Friday. I will see y'all on Monday. You know, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's Cast Sports, the Box Historian. Your friendly neighborhood box historian. Coming to your neighborhood, bringing all that boxing history. Okay? Time for Just Do Boxing, your voice. Just Do Boxing. Ray Patterson. Lonnie Lee, #JBT. BN Boxing News. Showtime, The Guide Pass. E-Class. Tim Layton, #JBT. Mike Masick. Al Booger. J Hardcore, #JBT. Miss Cass, #JBT. Everybody have a great day. I'll see y'all on Monday. Okay? Appreciate everybody stopping by today. Hope you enjoyed the show. Have a great day and have a great weekend. Enjoy the fights. Cast Sports.